A single dad fixed a car everyone had forgotten, then returned it to the woman who lost everything. The old car sat alone at the far end of a dusty storage yard, hidden behind stacks of rusted metal and broken machinery. Its paint was faded. Its windows were coated with years of dirt. Weeds had grown around its tires as if nature itself had decided it would never move again. Everyone who passed by looked at it the same way. Forgotten. Worthless. Finished. But what nobody knew was that inside that neglected machine lived the last surviving piece of a woman's shattered life. And the man who would discover that truth was a struggling single father who could barely afford groceries for the week. Before we begin, if you believe kindness still matters and that everyone deserves a second chance, please take a moment to like this video, comment where you're watching from, share this story with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to Single Dad Empire for more heart-touching stories that restore faith in humanity. The morning sun hung bright over the small town of Maple Ridge as Rowan Mercer unlocked the door of his tiny repair garage. At 38 years old, life had given him more struggles than victories. 3 years earlier, he had lost his wife to a sudden illness, leaving him alone to raise his 9-year-old daughter, Tessa. Every day followed the same routine. Wake up before sunrise. Make breakfast. Take Tessa to school. Work long hours repairing old vehicles. Count every dollar. Hope it was enough. Rowan never complained. He simply kept moving forward. The garage wasn't much. Its paint was peeling, the roof leaked during heavy rain, and most of his customers drove older vehicles because they couldn't afford dealership repairs. But Rowan had built a reputation for honesty, and in a world where many people felt forgotten, honesty was worth more than shiny buildings. One afternoon, a local scrapyard owner named Walter arrived at the garage. Walter was known for buying abandoned vehicles, salvaging parts, and crushing whatever remained. That day, he handed Rowan a small envelope. Inside was a title document. Got an old sedan nobody wants, Walter explained. Been sitting in storage for years. Nobody paid the fees. Legal ownership finally transferred. Thought maybe you'd want parts from it. Normally Rowan would have agreed immediately. Parts meant money. Money meant food and bills. But something made him curious. Later that afternoon, he drove to the storage yard. The vehicle sat exactly where Walter described. Covered in dust. Motionless. Forgotten. Yet when Rowan opened the driver's door, something felt strange. The interior wasn't damaged. It wasn't vandalized. It looked frozen in time. A faded scarf rested on the passenger seat. An old family photograph lay inside the glove compartment. And tucked beneath the visor was a small handwritten note. The paper trembled slightly in Rowan's hands as he unfolded it. The message wasn't dramatic. It wasn't long. But it stopped him cold. It simply read, "Please take care of her until I come back." There was no signature. No explanation. Just those words. For some reason, Rowan couldn't stop thinking about them. That night, after Tessa fell asleep, he sat at the kitchen table staring at the note. Who wrote it? Why never return? What happened? Most importantly, why did it feel like this car had a story nobody knew? The next morning, Rowan made a decision that surprised even himself. Instead of stripping the car for parts, he would restore it. The choice made absolutely no financial sense. He barely had enough money as it was. The vehicle needed extensive work. The engine was seized. The fuel system was ruined. The brakes had deteriorated. Months of labor would be required. But something deep inside told him this wasn't just another repair project. It mattered. So every evening after work, Rowan stayed late. While the summer sun filled the garage with warm daylight, he cleaned years of dust from the body. He rebuilt engine components. He replaced wiring. He searched salvage yards for matching parts. Some nights he worked until midnight. Other nights Tessa sat beside him doing homework while he turned wrenches. As weeks became months, father and daughter grew attached to the old sedan. Tessa called it the sleeping car. Whenever progress seemed impossible, she reminded him. Sleeping things wake up eventually. Her optimism kept Rowan going. Then one Saturday afternoon, while cleaning the trunk, he found something hidden beneath the spare tire compartment. A small leather journal. Its pages had yellowed with age. The first page contained a name. Marisol Bennett. The remaining pages revealed pieces of a life. A happy marriage. Family road trips. Photographs described in loving detail. Birthday memories. Vacation adventures. Simple moments that meant everything. Then, gradually, the tone changed. Entries spoke about financial hardship. Medical bills. A husband's illness. Mounting debt. Fear. Heartbreak. The final journal entry was dated 8 years earlier. It described losing nearly everything. The family home. Savings. Stability. The last paragraph ended abruptly. No explanation followed. No future entries existed. Rowan closed the journal and stared at the garage wall. For the first time, he realized this car wasn't merely transportation. It was a surviving witness to someone's life. And somehow, that life had disappeared. Over the next several weeks, Rowan became determined to find Marisol Bennett. During lunch breaks, he searched public records. He asked long-time residents. He followed old addresses. Most trails ended in dead ends. People moved. Records changed. Years passed. Eventually even memories faded. Still, Rowan refused to quit. Meanwhile, the restoration continued. By autumn, the sedan looked completely different. Its original blue paint gleamed beneath the afternoon sunlight. The engine purred smoothly. The interior was restored with careful attention. Every detail honored the vehicle's history. The day Rowan turned the key and heard the engine roar to life, Tessa nearly cried with excitement. They sat together inside the car. For a moment, neither spoke. The forgotten vehicle had awakened. But the biggest challenge remained. Finding its owner. One rainy October morning, Rowan finally discovered a lead. An elderly librarian recognized Marisol's name from a local charity newsletter years earlier. The newsletter mentioned a woman who had relocated to another town after experiencing severe financial hardship. The trail wasn't perfect. But it was enough. Rowan followed it. 3 hours away, in a modest neighborhood lined with small homes and flowering gardens, he found an address. The house was humble. Clean. Quiet. A woman in her late 50s watered plants on the porch. Her hair showed strands of silver. Her posture carried the weight of years. Yet something about her eyes matched the photographs inside the journal. Rowan knew immediately. This was Marisol. He parked nearby. For several minutes, he sat silently. His hands gripped the steering wheel. Suddenly he felt nervous. What if she didn't want to remember? What if reopening old wounds caused pain? What if he was wrong? Eventually, he stepped out. Marisol looked up. At first, confusion crossed her face. Then she noticed the vehicle parked along the curb. Everything changed. The watering can slipped from her hand. Water spilled onto the porch. Her expression froze. For several seconds she simply stared. Then tears appeared. Not dramatic tears. Not loud sobs. Just silent tears born from memories too deep for words. She slowly approached the car. One trembling hand touched the hood. The polished blue paint reflected the bright afternoon sky. Marisol covered her mouth. Her knees nearly gave way. 8 years earlier, after losing her husband to illness and drowning beneath debt, creditors had taken almost everything she owned. The car had been placed into storage during the chaos. She intended to retrieve it. Life had other plans. One crisis became another. Time passed. Survival became the priority. Eventually she assumed the vehicle was gone forever. But the truth was far greater than losing a car. Inside that vehicle lived memories of her husband. Family vacations. Laughter. Love. The final years before everything collapsed. She believed those memories had disappeared forever. Yet somehow they had returned. When Rowan handed her the journal and handwritten note, Marisol broke down completely. Years of grief poured out. Years of loss. Years of loneliness. Years of believing nobody cared. Standing there beneath the bright daytime sky, she finally learned that a stranger had spent months restoring not just a vehicle, but a piece of her heart. Neither money nor words could measure what that meant. As they sat on the porch together, Rowan shared the story of finding the car. Marisol listened quietly. Tears continued falling. The afternoon sunlight softened across the neighborhood as memories flowed between strangers connected by kindness. And for the first time in many years, Marisol smiled. A real smile. The kind that begins deep within the soul. Weeks later, she visited Rowan's garage. Not with money. Not with gifts. But with gratitude. She brought old photographs showing the car during happier times. Pictures of family road trips. Beach vacations. Birthday celebrations. Moments that had once seemed lost forever. Rowan hung those photographs on the garage wall. Customers often asked about them. Each time, he shared the story. And every person who heard it walked away believing a little more in humanity. Because sometimes the most valuable things aren't valuable at all. Sometimes they're memories. Sometimes they're hope. Sometimes they're reminders that even when life takes everything, kindness can return something priceless. Before we reach the ending, if this story has touched your heart so far, please like the video, leave a comment, and share it with someone who still believes in goodness. Your support helps more people discover stories that inspire hope. And please write this special comment below. Kindness is never forgotten. 1 year later, the restored blue sedan appeared in the town's annual community parade. Marisol drove. Rowan and Tessa waved from the passenger seats. The crowd applauded as the story spread through the town. Few people understood cars. But everyone understood what it meant to lose something precious. And everyone understood what it meant to get a piece of your heart back. As the bright daytime sun illuminated the streets, Rowan glanced at his daughter. Tessa smiled proudly. The sleeping car had awakened. But more importantly, so had a forgotten dream. Because one struggling single father chose compassion over profit. One forgotten vehicle became a symbol of hope. And one woman who had lost everything discovered that sometimes life sends miracles in the most unexpected forms. Not through wealth. Not through power. Not through luck. But through ordinary people who decide to care. And that is why the world still has hope. Because somewhere out there, someone is rebuilding what another person believes is lost forever. And sometimes, that changes everything.